Hey, what's up, YouTube? So, today we have a pretty cool thing that we've discovered. Self chill or stacker is just downright broken. Now, I know that self chill probably should not work. I get this a lot in my Twitch chat about should self chill actually work, and the question is whether this node here, enemies chilled by your hits are shocked, and enemies shocked by your hits are chilled, should actually work with a Malagaro's belt to reflect back to you because we are not our own enemies. But in this case, we are our own enemies, and it actually pays to be our own enemy. Much like Self Cursed, this build is absolutely wild. So, overall, the build has been gone through a lot of iterations. I've tried to add it in a cluster, I changed out a large cluster, and overall, it's getting better and better by the day. Just now, one of my stream viewers actually informed me how I can use hypothermia, and this gem is actually quite game changing. It's kind of hard to feel exactly why 20% increased effect of ailments can be so crazy, but just watch the video. I included a full run of a Hydra kill with doing an ultimatum, and I just wanted to show you this full speed of the build and why there's really nothing that's really that comparable in speed. Now I know in the tooltip here it says for movement speed it only goes up to 186%, but according to POB, when you add up all the action speed modifiers, the movement speed is close to around 400% move speed, which is absolutely crazy and puts it right around when someone is using a head on a belt. So also I wanted to talk quickly about the Harbinger strategy and what I found. I actually did a lot of maps today in this Harbinger area with these watchstones. I did get this Nemesis currency watchstone. I'll show you a short clip of the loot explosion that happened because it was actually pretty cool. It was almost like I got teleported back in time and we went back to doing fractured delirium maps. But anyhow, let's get straight into the gear overview that everyone loves to see exactly how I wasted my money today and what upgrades I bought. So for the gear overview, I actually made a few changes today that are pretty significant that I'm pretty proud of. But let's see. Nebula's still the same. Probably not going to be able to change this until I get one multiplier or fire damage to spells. The helm, I crafted on +1 Pierce because Pierce is actually completely game changing. I played with 2 Pierce for a long time. And 2 Pierce compared to 1 Pierce without the explode gloves, which I got rid of finally, is completely bonkers. Like 3 Pierce feels a lot smoother and was actually a lot better on clearing out Harbinger packs and big dense packs. So I highly recommend to sacrifice the ES and get the Pierce if possible on the helm. Now the amulet here we have, I actually use the augment defense on non-influence and I hit, I don't think you want to see what I hit. I actually hit on percent evasion rating, so that's a brick. I could have been much more brave and use the Aceling Exalt or Unveil and try to get the proj speed, proj damage, and then craft it on increased effective non-damaging ailments. That's probably what I should have done because projectile speed is huge. I'll probably be recrafting this amulet tomorrow. I'll just be spamming these essences of scorn. Let me show you real fast. We want to craft the amulet with a synthesized base. You want to use the scorn essence. It's also of note that for this self-chill version of the aura stacker, you want to be using a synthesized amulet, I think, because you cannot get multi effective non-damaging ailments and RMR and an aura. It's impossible because there's 4 suffixes that are mandatory, but we can only guarantee 3 of them. So I think the synthesized amulet is the way to go, and it's probably what I would advise because you can get 40% multi really easily, and 40% multi is huge in the grand scheme of things as we're really multi starved, especially with how expensive double multi RMR jewels are currently. Now the Prism Guardian, I finally upgraded it. I was able to buy one for 14 exalts, and I got one of the level 23 grayscale. Now this is functionally identical to a Call of the Brotherhood with an aura, because both of them allows us to gain a gem socket. Now a Call of the Brotherhood with an aura is insanely expensive. Like, look at this. It's 60 exalts for a level 21 hatred Call of the Brotherhood. It's actually crazy to think I bought this at League Start for 7 exalts. Now, if you want to gain a gem socket, would you rather pay 60 exalts or 14 exalts? They're functionally identical. So first of all, most people should try to get the Prism Guardian for an aura. And if you're really struggling to play a beginner aura stacker, you're not doing self chill, the cheapest source of a gem link is the amulet, and we will need the amulet for the vitality if you want to play Spark. And I also got this Hands of the High Templar. Now this is a +4 LE weakness pair. I paid slightly more for this one because it's AoE aura, which means that, so there's two trade-offs, right? AoE aura means that your Vault Discipline, you will not need a Vault Discipline to get +4 levels from the gloves, but also means that your Righteous Fire doesn't get +4 because Righteous Fire is an AoE duration skill. So I actually think if you're planning to empower the aura, the best is actually +1 gems and +2 AoE. I should have probably thought of that before I bought this pair. But anyhow, I will probably corrupt this pair and try to get an extra implicit, and we'll see what happens later on. Now Malagaro's Restraint I also slightly upgraded. I wanted more move speed because why not? The more move speed the better. If you wanted damage, you would get the multiplier during Flask effect. But this belt ran me like 1 exalt, and it was a pretty good upgrade. It feels a lot better now with all this move speed. It literally feels like my character is the fastest character in the world without any header buffs. And one thing of note for my passive tree is that I was able to add on this large cluster jewel. This is a Deep Chill and Vengeful Commander split. So Deep Chill, Vengeful Commander. You might wonder what happened to Blast Freeze, right? So I got rid of Blast Freeze for this. This is 30% increased effect of cold ailments, which means that we have 30% increased effect. So this is the exact same roll as this of a non-damaging ailments. So altogether, we're also using hypothermia now. So altogether, we have 20% here, 30% here, 60% here, and then 30% here. And then we have 20% here. So it adds up to a grand total of, and this is how you can see how much effect you have for your chill effectiveness, 169%. I found out for some viewers that currently the chill on yourself is the 30% action speed modifier. So you have 30 times 2.69, I think is how much it is, for how much action speed we gain. Now that's an actually insane amount. So what's 30 times 2.69, 2.7? It's like 81% action speed modifier. So you can see that this build is uncomparable. Even if you have, what's it called, Torrent Reclamation and Tailwind Boots, that's only 30% action speed. This build has 81% action speed in its current iteration. And we can get this much higher. I can get this to 200%, which means we will have 90% action speed and be 3 times faster in action speed compared to someone who uses Tailwind Boots and Torrent Reclamation. So the future is stacking Ailment Effect and Aura Stacker and stacking auras. So in the end, this build should be known as the Double Stacker. Stacking Ailment Effect and stacking auras. And it's pretty fun trying to make this build work because when it all comes together, this build is just probably completely broken in its current iteration. Now action speed is also a huge damage boost, so even though the tooltip is very low because we're using hypothermia now and Trinity, the actual damage is actually insane. And if I dropped faster proj for elemental penetration, I would say that the damage on this build is probably higher than the regular version. The main problem with this is we are using Trinity, so we don't have the penetration that we need for bosses, as Trinity is only 20%, while Awakened Copen at level 5 is like 42%. But if we put in elemental penetration, then all these issues are solved, and it should be really good. Divergent Hypothermia also gives us -4% to cold res against frozen enemies, which should be very, very useful. And Hypothermia should actually make it safer to map and make Blast Freeze extraneous. But anyhow, I hope you liked the gear overview. There's some pretty significant changes, and I feel like this is how it's going to be like for the next few days as we work on perfecting the build. Next upgrades I foresee is getting a 3 passive point voices and gaining 3 passive points back to put into probably aura effects so we can get back to 300%. Now, I wanted to go over very fast about the Harbinger Watchstone. I get this question asked a lot. Is this Watchstone worth it? So we have Laden, which increases the chance to drop additional stack of currency shards. And this one's also increased the chance to drop additional stack of currency shards and additional stack of currency shards and rare value currency shards. This means that we get an exalted shard sometimes. Probably, I don't even know what the rate is. I don't really want to speculate. But you do get an exalted shard like 3 to 5 every now and then, probably like 1 in 5 maps or 4 maps. So in reality, you will make the money back between ancient orbs and your exalted shards, because you're paying like 4 chaos for a Harbinger, and this is if you don't want to use scarabs. Now this method is also extremely good if you roll Nemesis currency. If you use Nemesis currency, you need to make sure to roll rare monsters on your map. So you can pre-roll a big batch of canyons like this and then save your rare monsters map and put it on the side for eventually when you hit this Nemesis currency. And then you want to use like a big scarab, like a Harbinger scarab, like maybe a gilded Harbinger scarab. And then this is pretty much like doing a fracture map back in the day with Nemesis and Harbinger Nemesis currency. So you will get a lot of that. But I wanted to address, like, I know there's a video out there that says that you can make 5,000 chaos in like 50 maps or so, which puts it around 100 chaos average per map without using scarabs. And I just did not find that to be the case. I know that in his excellence said that he had that much, but maybe my loot filter is just too strict and I didn't get lucky. I didn't find any cortexes, I didn't find any raw exalts. I did find a mirror shard, which actually offsets the findings a lot, so it actually really skews it. But the thing is, I just don't think you make an average of 100 chaos doing these maps. The exalted shards are pretty good, and this method will make you money in the long run. It is beneficial. It is just free money, because if you consider the fact that you can just sell back the watchstones whenever, as long as the watchstones don't deflate too much, right? Let's see how much this watchstone is currently. It's only 8.5x. I bought it at 11x because of the hype surrounding the video and the method that was introduced. But if you just buy the watchstone and then you have the Laden ones and you invest into it and you run the map, you put Harbinger on every map, then it's a very good money making method still. It's not the best, it's not 100 chaos per map, but it's definitely worth your time. And if you plan to sell back the watchstones and you don't consider the cost of the watchstones, you will make back your cost of investment and then some over time. It's definitely a good investment. I recommend it. Just don't get baited into thinking that you'll be making like almost nearly half an exalt or 1 exalt a map. That's just not the case unless you're extremely lucky. But overall, my experience with it has been very good. I found a mirror shard. I kind of enjoy doing the Nemesis currency. The Nemesis currency is kind of cool, but it really just reminds me of the whole looting issue in the game. And looting is just not fun. And it's just not cool to have to like click 1,000 times. But I'll show you a short clip from the Nemesis currency map that I did, and you can see a huge issue of looting. And then I'm gonna play a clip of me doing the layer of the Hydra with the new setup. So the hypothermia setup with chill is extremely fast, and it's actually just crazy how much speed you can get without header or buffs. I hope you enjoy these clips, and yeah, it's all delving in a Nemesis Harbinger node.
Ruin arrives suddenly. You will fall to ruin.
So swapping out Divergent Faster Prod for Control Destruction made life so much easier. Yeah, the damage you lose is quite significant for not using Control. No Exalted Orb.
last
I have
victory
nothing more
was
to
not
give.
mere. You will fall to ruin. Ruin arrives suddenly. Ruin surrounds you.
If I changed everything,
Fire seeks what it will.
the way I walk, the way I breathe, will my fate shift into the light?
Flames race toward you.
But here I am, same old thing.
Ruin seeks
Think I
you.
need no ecstasy. Reality haunts the living mind.
Ruin arrives suddenly. That makes it 2 in a row. Speak.
If I saw another day, only to scream into the night. Nothing ever tries to change, even if I want to realign. 'Cause I've been sitting here, same old ways, taking off without the same mistake. Darling, will you go away? It won't be as simple for you.
Can I not have but a moment of silence?
Time won't change anything if I don't know how to breathe.
Yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed the clip. I just wanted to bring back this screenshot real fast because it's just kind of ridiculous, right? So you see here, this is the Delirium map that I was doing. This has Nemesis currency. The investment is relatively low if I didn't spend a bajillion chaos on trying to get a winged Harbinger scarab. But regardless, this is what you see from doing the map. And look at this. Do you see the main problem here and why GGG should address it if they ever want to bring back this method of farming? But I guess I can see why they wanted to remove it, right? Because they would rather just get rid of the whole being able to do any Nemesis currency maps like this at any consistency. So basically the easiest solution is these things are all dropped in a radius. You can stack up these currency, chaos orbs, orb of alterations, orb of regrets, orb of fusings, and it would be so much better. Like I did this map like just 2 or 3 times and immediately I dreaded doing it just because of clicking. I think I clicked more in this map than I've ever looted for like the past like 2 days of playing. I know that's an over exaggeration, but I really feel like it was a miserable experience. The map was super fun though, and I really enjoyed it, but the looting still needs to be fixed in this game. I don't know what they'll do about it, but it's just a small thing, but it could use some improvement. Anyhow, I hope everyone enjoyed the build and the demonstration of the mapping speed. I hope I'm able to convince more of you how viable this build will be later on. I'm already at 4K ES. Once I get voices and everything, I should be at 4.2, 4.5-ish. And finishing off these clusters and getting a clarity as ES Watcher's Eye should help out a lot. Oh yeah, I ended up picking up this Watcher's Eye. It's an RMR Watcher's Eye, immune to freeze and Ellie Pen, which is like good, but I can get a much better one later on. But this character has exciting times ahead. There's going to be a lot of upgrades, lots of changes, and lots more speed. We might even consider dropping a Aura medium cluster for another one of these for 50% increased effect of non-damage ailments. But hypothermia was a game changer. And be sure to check out my stream to see more and how this character will grow and get updated. And I can answer any of your questions about POB, regardless if you're playing or not playing the self-chill version of the Aura Stacker. But if you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe, and check out my Twitch stream and Discord. And I'll see you next time. And I hope you have more luck than me finding mirrors and exalts. And thanks for watching.